And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give you all a Hawaii visitor news update. A lot of stuff going on, so I'm going to kind of rip through this. First thing, we had a little tsunami scare, actually. We had a tsunami scare yesterday. First, there was an earthquake with no tsunami warning. Then there was a tsunami watch. And then after a while, there was nothing. So we're all safe. We're all good. There was no tsunami. We're all a little bit worried about that. Oahu is moving forward. Oahu's doing really good on the COVID trail. We moved to tier 3, which means more relaxed restrictions. Relaxed restrictions, if that's a word. Restaurants can have higher capacity, larger groups, etc. And it looks like there's some news that we may be moving on to tier 4, and tier 4 would be the least restrictive condition on Oahu. So we're all kind of stoked about that. So good news, things are going in the right direction. Next one, get vaccinated, skip quarantine. Well, Governor Ige has made some mentions that they're hoping to put together a plan where you can have a plan to such that people with vaccinations will be able to skip quarantine. Now, this is not in place yet, but they're working on it. So the idea is going to be that if you've been vaccinated and you can kind of show proof of vaccination, it's as if you tested negative, which means you can skip quarantine and go straight to your destination. So that's going to be a really good thing. Maui, Heidi, we got a little bit of a Maui thing going on. Maui looks like they are, I said they're hanging loose over here. So what's happening is that Maui's seeing some kind of spikes. I think it's not major spikes, but they're having some spikes. And some people are saying, hey, yeah, we're going to tighten our restrictions. But I think the mayor has announced that he does not plan to tighten the restrictions amid a spike. This is a quote from the mayor, Michael Victorino, who says, we're not going to make major changes to the restrictions. We know what we need to do. Our visitors know what they need to do. Our businesses are doing a great job. I go to many of these businesses. I don't think we need to up the ante at this point. And I'm going to agree with what he's doing on that. For sure. Kauai too. Looks like the whole state, if you see the trend, you all see a trend over here. Yeah, it looks like things are starting to loosen up. So Kauai is lifting their restrictions, and they're going to be joining the Safe Travels program, which has been in effect for the rest of the state. The Safe Travels program, we talked about this earlier. This is where people can go through a process. There's an app. There's a way to kind of get yourself tested negative, and if you're to get yourself tested and documented. If you're negative, you don't have to be quarantined. Kauai was a little bit of was isolated. They had a different program where you may have had to get re-quarantined if you landed on Kauai. The Mayor Derek Kawakami is announcing that he wants to opt back into the Safe Travels program. The good news, what's going on in Kauai is that because of the small population there, the total population of Kauai is 70,000 people. They've had 24,000 doses of the vaccine. So, percentage-wise, a very high percentage of Kauai is vaccinated. So that's why they're feeling pretty good about that. So that's kind of a good thing. Looks like summer is going to be big. Summer is cranking up. The economists are saying that the summer season is going to be good. So if you are planning on coming to Hawaii for a vacation or otherwise, you definitely want to make sure you kind of plan yourself out there and make sure you've got your plans, because it looks like things are going to be ramping up. And my final comment here, a little bit of news. Aloha Loves. So it's a big bummer. Loves Bakery now. If you're a visitor to Hawaii, you don't know what Love's Bakery is, but the rest of us, we all know what Love's Bakery is. And Love's Bakery has been a local icon. They've been in Hawaii for 170 years, and their economic situation was on the brink before COVID due to Costco and the cost of doing business in Hawaii and all kinds of reasons. But I think COVID kind of threw them over the edge. So we're all bummed out about that. And I, just as a cultural mention, want to kind of throw that out to you. And then finally, I did want to show you all what really, really crappy weather in Hawaii looks like. So if you look at that, I'm going to zoom in over here. So if you look at that bottom stripe, we got straight days. It looks like for the next week, it's going to be rainy every single day. And if you look at the lowest temperature, we're looking at, looks like 65, which my God might be right where Minnesota is going to be at from what Michael said there. But 65 is going to be the low, and 72 is going to be the high. So this is the definition of crappy weather in Hawaii. We're going to be staying inside. At least I'm going to be staying inside. Hey, so real quick before we talk about real estate, is there any news kind of items, not real estate related news, but just regular news that you want to chime in with? Let's just go clockwise. Dylan, anything on the big on that I missed that you should add in that people ought to know news wise?
I don't think so. Nothing super interesting.
That's the way we like it.
That's
Nothing
good
super
news, right? No
interesting.
news
It's
is
good
good
then.
news.
No news
Yeah.
is good news. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Scott, anything on Oahu that I missed that's newsworthy?
No, I mean we had a ton of wind this past week, but in general, I go around now. We're having like 20 new cases a day here on Oahu, which is like nothing. And but everyone's still wearing masks, and I think like it goes back to what I was saying before, that just culturally here we have this tendency to look out for each other and
Yep.
abide by the guidelines and,
Yep.
and be respectful. So
Yep.
we're kicking butt over here. It feels good. Even my clients from Seattle that just came here said that the vibe and the feel is completely different. There's more restaurants open here than on the mainland.
Yeah, it's great. It looks like, thank God, we're on the right track. I feel like we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Heidi, anything on Maui that I missed out news-wise that's worth mentioning?
No big news. I mean, just the amount of visitors we have on Maui has picked up so much. This year was looking really uncertain for tourism and the vacation industry at the beginning of the year, and it's just anyway, a lot of people want to come to Maui, and it's busy, and anyway, it's fun.
It is, man. It is absolutely fun. All right, great.